If you're a World War II history buff, or if you're even familiar with all of the propaganda that was put out in 1940s Germany, World War II Germany, then you probably remember the advertisements for the propaganda film Der Ewige Jude. And it was an anti-Semitic film. It perpetrated a lot of, false information about the Jewish people in Germany. Think about this. Now think about what's going on with the immigrants in this country. Okay? You have to consider this when you're looking at all of the propaganda and what is being said or not said. I specifically want to point out that, much like World War II Germany, Trump promised to only deport immigrants who committed violent crimes. Okay? Violent crimes. He went on and on about this repeatedly in his campaign. But like any authoritarian regime, including Schmittler's, once he was able to use this promise to convince Congress to pass the Laken-Riley Act, which is now disenfranchising millions of human beings and subjecting them to torture and punishment, and they haven't even committed crime, okay? He's now expanding the net. Well, maybe we could send the really violent American prisoners, just the bad ones that hurt grandma. Sound familiar? Because he also used the same analysis, or analogy, I should say, when he was talking about undocumented immigrants who were violent, the violent ones that he was going to remove. Oh, the ones that hurt grandma. It's going to go beyond just the violent ones. He's going to remove those who dissent. Because remember, he said the violent ones, I said, the really dangerous ones, the homegrown ones. That's protesters. And I don't mean just like, from like George Floyd level protests. We're talking anybody. Maybe those attorneys that sued him for spreading lies about election fraud in 2020. He's going after them. He wants them to be charged with crimes now. So yeah, he's using this persona, Der ewige Jude, but instead of the 1940s stereotyping of Jew on the propaganda posters, now it's immigrants. Be suspicious of every immigrant. And I'm seeing that general theme even here on TikTok. I can't tell you how many lives I've gone into where I meet people who want every immigrant out of this country. They don't care if they're here legally or not. They want them gone. Do you know how counter to America that runs? We're based on the idea of immigration in this country. But beyond this, these folks that want these immigrants gone, they're not thinking big picture. Eventually, that immigrant on that propaganda poster, okay, that immigrant is eventually going to have their face on it because there won't be anybody left and they're going to have to find a new other. That's how fascists like Trump stay in control. There's always some type of an existential boogeyman somewhere out there. It'll be immigrants today. It's going to be dissenters tomorrow. It could be rebellious women after that. They will always find an enemy to put on that poster. If you're in a international, community watching this, please lean on your leaders to start sanctioning and putting embargoes on the United States. We are past the point of return. We have gone over the hill of that roller coaster and we are just flying down that hill and we have no brakes to stop. We have a loyalist in charge of the military service. We have loyalists in the DOJ. And obviously there's just like a shit ton of loyalists in the legislative branch. But we also have a leader who has declared himself the chief judiciary, the chief financial officer, the chief legislation expert. Like, for real, we have no brakes. And the only way we're going to slow down is if we have the international community exerting pressure on our legislators to stand up to Trump. So please help us do this. We're a nation of like 335 million people, and 80 million put this asshole in office. What's going to happen if he's going to defy government authority, even if liberals were to win back the House of Representatives? Even if they won back the Senate? Trump has pretty much shown that he's not going to do what they want, no matter what. We have no brakes. please brake check us.